Alright guys, I wanted to do a quick video tutorial on the brush tools in Photoshop in case you missed the live demo. So the worksheet should look something like this, and it should open up in Photoshop. This brush panel, brush settings panel, and the installing brushes panel over here, these are all just instructions. So all of your work, you have to make sure you're in the layers panel over here, and it says your work here. So we'll start off with the basic brush tool setting. So go ahead and look for your brush tool in your tools panel, and the keyboard shortcut for that is the letter B. We're going to start with this one right here that is set to 50 pixels, and it is a soft brush. So the moment you click on your brush tool, you should see in your options panel the tool options for the brush. So you want to go into this drop down here. You want to make sure that your size is set to 50 pixels, or you can use the brackets next to the letter P on your keyboard. The left one is to make your brush size smaller, and then the right one is to make it bigger. And if the hardness is not set to 0, make sure you take this slider down to 0%. Change the color to whatever you want it to be, and then you're just going to hover over this area here, and then click once with your mouse or with your drawing tablet. It should look something like that. Now I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut brackets to increase my brush size to, I believe this one's 80%. So, and you'll see it update here as well. So 80, and then I'm just going to click once. This next one should be 100 pixels, so it should look something like that. Okay, so those are just basic settings of increasing the brush size and then the feathering of the brush. So feathering just means that the edges of the brush are soft. We're going to move on to a hard brush, so we're going to take the hardness to 100%, and then this one is going to be back at 50 pixels. Oh, probably a bit more, so I'm going to do 60. And if you wanted to change the brush color, you totally can, either up in your color hue over here, your hue cube, or in your tools panel. So change that, and I'm going to click once. This brush is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to use my brackets again, and that looks to be 100 pixels, and then this one I'm going to increase to 125. Great. I'm going to change the color once more, and so this one we're starting to customize the shape of the actual brush. So back to our brush settings here, you're looking for this section right here, so you should see two circles at the top and bottom, and then an arrow on the right hand side by default. So you want to grab these dots here and then just bring them in so we can make the brush a bit flatter, and then hover over here, and that looks about right. So I'm going to click once. Now for this one, we just rotate the brush up, so I'm going to grab this arrow here and then turn this upwards like this, and then click once. Alright, so this one, same thing, we're just going to rotate this slightly. I'm going to actually bring these in some more. It doesn't have to be perfect, so but something like that. And then I'm going to rotate it clockwise like this. And there you go. Alright, for this one we're going back to a regular circle, so I'm going to take these, spread them apart, and then bring the arrow back over here. You can't really see it from far away, but I'll show you what a regular round brush looks like. And then this one's got some texture around it, so to do that you come to where it says mode, and then we click dissolve. And I'll just leave it the same color. If I click once, you'll see that the edges of the brush are a bit rough. So this is just showing you that you have different blending modes for the brush as well, but I'm going to leave this back at normal because it's very rare that you'll use it for the brush because the layers panel has it and it works much better. Okay, so we're going to start working with the shift key and the brush tool, along with changing the opacity. So I'm going to bring this brush size down to about 60. And right now the opacity for your brush is up at the options panel again. And we're doing 100% opacity. And I'm actually going to do orange. So with this one, you're going to hold down the shift key first. And then with your mouse or with your drawing tablet, you're just going to click and hold and drag down. Don't let go of shift the whole time. So let go of the mouse first or your drawing tablet, and then you let go of the shift key. But what shift does is it basically makes sure that we paint in a straight line. So I'm going to now change the opacity to 75% for this next one. So 75. Same thing, hold down shift, click, and then drag down. You can also use the slider if you did not want to type in anything. I just find it more accurate when we do. Hold down shift, click, and drag down. And then the last one, change this to 10% opacity. Hold down shift, click, and paint down. Alright, I'm going to change my opacity back to 100%. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to change the color of my brush tool one more time. And for this one, it says click on the dot and then hold shift, click onto the next dot. So we're going to click once here, then you're going to hold down shift, and you're going to click once in this bottom dot here. So this just shows you that it can also do diagonal straight lines if you just click and click shift once. So hold down shift, click once, hold down shift, click once, hold down shift, click once. But yeah, that's again, shift just makes sure that everything's in a straight line. It also works horizontally, if we were to paint across too. Okay, for this one you're going to use either your drawing tablet or your mouse. It's up to you. One line is going to be done with the hard brush, so we already have that set right now. I just have to resize this down to about 40. Now, if you're drawing and your lines look pretty shaky, in your options panel, look for the smoothing tool here. And if I don't have it on, it can be pretty jaggedy, especially if you're doing the drawing tablet. So if you increase this, 50% is actually pretty high, but I'll show you, oops, redo that. I'll show you what a line looks like with 0% smoothing, so you don't have to do this. So it can be pretty rough with the mouse, and it's kind of recording all of my shakiness here. So let me show you what that looks like when we increase this to 50%, 55 is fine. There's going to be a delay from where you're actually painting and then where your cursor for your mouse is. So this is so much smoother when we have smoothing enabled. But yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you'll do one with a hard brush, and then the second one, you'll take the hardness down to make it a soft brush. And I recommend changing the color too. There you go. Alright. If you haven't, this is a good place to do a file save, to save your progress. We're going to get into the mixer brush tool here. So to do that, I'm going to grab your brush tool. I'm going to do a soft brush. Okay, cool, it's already set. And I'm going to increase the brush size here to be pretty big, something like that. And let's pick one color. So you're going to do two colors here. So I'm going to do, oops, I chose the wrong one. There we go, brush tool. It's set to blue, and then I'm just going to paint a swatch here. And then pick a second color. And then paint on the other side. Alright, so the mixer brush is located behind the regular brush tool, and it's the last one here, so you can right click on the brush and look for mixer brush. It also has different settings up at the top, so you can decide whether or not you want to, so this one's to clean the brush after every stroke. There we go, now that it's popping up. Clean the brush after each stroke, and then this one says load the brush after each stroke. If you hit this drop down, you have dry media, moist, wet, and then basically the paint that you're working with, or the medium. Again, this is a drop down for how wet you want the paint, how much you're loading into the brush, and then how much is going to be mixed. So I'm going to leave everything as default settings right now, and you're just going to come in here and start mixing these two colors together. So you can grab more purple and then bring that in, or grab more blue and then bring it in like that. So you can get some pretty cool effects here. If you hit this brush, it starts to clean it up too, and so you get more of the original colors in here. So that's an option. Feel free to go in here and see what taking down some of these settings does for your blending. Okay, so the next one says paint 3 swatches of different colors, but it wants you to use Kyle's Wet Blender 50 brush to blend. So I'm just going to, I'll just use the same color here. So we'll do, whoops, gotta go back to brush tool. We'll do purple to start off with. Then let's do pink here. And let's do blue. And let's go. Pretty bright blue. Okay. Alright, so you have 3 swatches now. And then to look at these different brush settings, that would be, or the brushes, I'm sorry, it'd be the brushes panel. You can bring it up from up here, or you can go to Window, Brushes, and it looks something like this. Alright, so by default you're given the general, dry, wet, and then special effects brushes. We're looking for, I'm going to hit this little arrow to bring some of these brushes out. We're looking for Kyle's Wet Blender, so I'm sorry, we're going to Wet Media. And we are looking for this one right here. Wet Blender 50 smudge. Okay, and you'll notice that these brushes also have little icons on the top right, and it's telling you what kind of brush this is. So this one's a regular brush, regular brush. This one has a little icon of a hand, and that's our smudge tool, and then this one's our mixer tool up here. So be careful which one you're picking, because they might not be regular brushes, they might be blending brushes. So we're going to do this one, and you'll notice that it changes our tool to the smudge tool. Here you can increase the size if you wanted to, but you start to see that it's smudging these colors together. You can get more blue, same thing as before, or grab more pink to mix them in. Okay. So you can again have fun with some of these options as well for the smudge tool. But I'm going to go over to dry media brushes. Again, you're going to need your brush panel for this one. You're looking for dry media. So again, just make sure that the icon up at the top is a brush, and like this one's an eraser. So start with this one here, and I'm going to increase my brush size to about 50. As you can tell, the shift tool is being held here, so I'm going to hold down shift and then just paint across. And you can pick any dry media brush for this one. It's completely up to you. Again, just as long as it's a regular brush tool, not anything else. Okay, your special brushes are going to be located towards towards the bottom, again, make sure that you use something that has a brush tool up here. For these splatters, they're pretty messy, so just if you click a couple times, you see that it starts to get outside of the box here, so you can resize it, scale it down. And you have different effects like this. This one right here is one of these half tones here, so I'm going to click that one for now and just increase my brush size. And you'll see the half tone pattern. Okay, for custom brushes, that's where, if you wanted to customize yours the way that I do here, the settings are here, but feel free to use whatever, or make up whatever brush you want. But to do that, you're going to go to brush settings, and that's this icon right here. It should always be next to the brushes. And you can see some of these are already turned on, but you're going to go to brush tip shapes. The size I have here is 60 pixels, so I'm going to do 60. The hardness should be set to 100, and then the spacing I changed to 175. And you'll start to see a sample right here. The next thing you want to enable is shape dynamics. Jitter is set to 70%. Angle you won't see right away, so I'm going to do the roundness. Jitter here set to 100. And then now when I enter the angle here, it should be more obvious how they get randomized. And then the minimum roundness, I'm going to put 1%. Okay, I'm going to do scattering. Scatter, I'm going to increase to 80%. Count to 3. And then jitter to 25. Okay, and then this is optional, the color dynamics. Just because if you choose your own colors, it starts to add different ones here. So sometimes we'll let you, sometimes it won't. But I'll do color jitter 100%. Feel free to look through any of these and see what you want yours to look like. But once you're done building your brush, you're going to come here to the custom brushes and just click a couple times to show us what that looks like. Because I added a color jitter, every time I let go of the mouse and I click, the color is going to change. So that's the custom brushes. Okay, I'm going to go back to just a regular brush for this one. I'm sorry, brush is over here. Okay, the symmetry tool is something that's super fun to use. So I'll start with the most used one, which is this vertical symmetry. Again, you want to make sure you have your regular brush tool enabled, and I'm actually going to take this down even lower here. I'm going to do black. So the symmetry tool can be found up in your options panel, and it's an icon that looks like a butterfly. You're going to click on that once. You're going to do vertical to start off with. You might have to zoom out to find the line because it kind of adds it randomly. Alright, so mine's over here. You're just going to click and drag it to move it up in this box. And then you can hover over these edges here. When you see that double arrow going up and down, you can click and drag it so that it doesn't extend further than this box here. So this is an okay location for now. You're going to hit this arrow up here, or you're going to hit done or enter. And now this tool is set. So really cool if you draw on one side. Oh, I have the custom brush. We'll come back over here. Much better. Okay. So what you do on one side will repeat on the other side. So super cool. But yeah, so you can have fun to see what you can create with the symmetry tool. This is great for a front-facing turnaround. So some of us that do an eye on a character and it just doesn't look the same on the other side, symmetry is cool for that. For this one now, we're going to go back to symmetry, and I give you the option to do radial or mandala, it's up to you. But I'll do radial. It tells you how many segments. I'm going to leave it at 5 for now. Pops up back over here, so I need to click and drag it to move it up. Once you're happy, you're going to confirm that change. And same thing, it's just going to repeat on all sides. So you can do some pretty cool things with symmetry tools here. Alright, let's do a quick save just to make sure we don't lose any progress. Sometimes the symmetry tools can slow down Photoshop. So the next one is installing custom brushes, and so the step-by-step instructions are here in case you forget, but I'm not entirely sure if Brush Easy is blocked on campus, so you can try typing in brusheasy.com. If not, I attached an ABR file to today's assignment, so you can download that and we'll use that as an example. So to enable them in a Mac, it's slightly different than a PC. A PC, we just double click on the file and it automatically installs. For us, for Macs, you're going to go to the brushes panel. You're going to click on this menu, so it's the 3 lines up at the top here. And you're looking for import brushes. Pop-up will come up. By default, ours should be in downloads, and you're looking for the ABR file here. And you're going to hit load. Now when we come to our brushes, you should see that those brushes added to your brush menu. So now if I come over here, let me make sure I'm on the right layer. I'm going to resize this down, and I'm going to choose a color here, and then click once. Oops, I forgot we have this radial still activated over here, so I'm going to create a new layer on top of this one so that it doesn't use the radial tool on me. Okay. Is it still doing it? It might. Oh, it's still doing this one, y'all. That is crazy. Okay, what if I just hide those for now? Nope, it's... Alright, so brush. I'm going to do symmetry off. There we go. Now I can come back to this regular layer. There we go. But that's all there is to using and installing custom brushes too. You can even come in here to sorry, let's go to the brushes over here, and you can rotate the direction of the smoke as well. If you want to find your own, install them, download them and install them, feel free to practice here. The last box that I have for you guys is just drawing anything that you'd like in this box. Once you're done, you're using the brush tools. Once you're done, you're just going to hit File, Save, and you're going to turn in the PSD. So PSD is just a Photoshop file. If it's taking too long or the file's too big, then you can do File, Save As, and then change this to a Photoshop PDF, and that should work just fine. But let me know if you guys need any help.